for a minute. We're just going across to breaking news coming in from the Parliament, where presidential nominee is present currently at the Parliament. I'm so sorry, I will be back to you.
Well, those pictures are of the presidential nominee, Droupadi Murmu, who will be filing her nomination papers. To remember that yesterday she had met with the Prime Minister and Senior Union Ministers Amit Shah and Rajnath Singh, as well as the BJP President JP Nadda. Ms. Murmu, of course, is the NDA's nominee for the presidential elections. The 64-year-old former Jharkhand governor is expected to be the first president from the tribal community. Her nomination is being filed even as we speak right now. The Prime Minister, senior ministers and the BJP chief are proposing her name to be the ruling coalition's candidate. Now, 4 sets of nomination papers, we understand, will be filed with signatures of the union ministers, the BJP MPs, MLAs and leaders from supporting parties. And I'm telling you about the journey that she takes from here on till the elections actually take place. Now, what happens today, of course, is that her name is going to first be nominated. And what we're given to understand is that her nomination is being supported by the Prime Ministers, the senior ministers and the BJP chief, JP Nadda. They're proposing her name to be the ruling coalition's candidate. Now, 4 sets of nomination papers then will be filed with signatures of the union ministers, the BJP MPs, MLAs and of leaders from supporting parties. She will then, of course, embark on a nationwide campaign urging different political parties to support her bid. And the BJP, we are told, has appointed a 15-member team led by the Union Minister Gajendra Shekhawat to coordinate the electioneering process for the 18 July presidential elections. As you are seeing on your screens, the process has begun today. The BJP's candidate, essentially the NDA's candidate, is the 64-year-old former Jharkhand governor. She is widely accepted to be the first president from the tribal community. Yesterday, of course, the Prime Minister had met her, and after that, we had seen the formal process of her being nominated as the NDA's presidential candidate beginning. So Droupadi Murmu has now reached the Parliament, where the formal process of her nomination is going to start off. Now, there are several firsts in this. She is the first tribal woman candidate to be nominated for the post of president. She, of course, has held a constitutional post before. She was the Jharkhand governor before. Niranjan is now joining me on the phone line. Niranjan, take us through what we're expecting today. Obviously, you know, there are a lot of firsts involved in this. She is the first tribal woman to be nominated for the post of president by the ruling NDA.
Well, that's correct. And I think, the NDA presidential candidate now has the numbers. You go by who's backing for nomination. The YSRCP has come on record. The BJD is backing a nomination. So I think it's going to be smooth sailing. And this is the NDA's presidential candidate, Droupadi Murmu. And a former union minister, Yashwant Sinha, is her opponent. She's filing a nomination right now. Both the YSRCP and the BJD are sending their representatives while she files the nomination. And she's filing her nomination papers in the national capital. And the presidential nominee had arrived, yesterday. She met the Prime Minister. She met Union Ministers Amit Shah, Rajnath Singh, and the BJP President. And as we speak, she's there and she's filing a nomination. Just to give you a little bit of an idea about the NDA presidential nominee and why she's getting support across the board as far as Droupadi Murmu is concerned. Now, she's been the governor of Jharkhand for 6 years and the only one to complete a full term. In 2013, was a national executive member of the SC Morcha of the BJP. In 2013, she was again elected as the district president of Mayurbhanj West in the BJP. And 2010, she was the district president of the BJP, the district. And 2007, she was awarded the Neelkanta Award, which is the best MLA of the year 2007 in Odisha. So she was awarded the best MLA about 15 years ago by the Odisha Assembly. And between 2006 and 2009, she was the state president of the SC Morcha for the BJP. between 2004 and 2009. She's been an MLA in Odisha between 2002 and 2009. She's been for 7 years a national executive member of the ST Morcha. And just to tell you, like she's throughout her career, one thing has been consistent, that she's been fighting for the downtrodden, be it the scheduled caste, scheduled tribes, the tribals, and that is why her nomination becomes so critical. Now she will be, if and when she's voted, she's voted to the Rashtrapati Bhavan. She's chosen. She will be the first tribal president in India's history. Once elected, she will be the first tribal president and the second ever female president of India. She will also then go on to become the first president from Odisha, and I'm going purely by the numbers that is on the NDA side right now. Once elected, she will become the first president of the country from the state of Odisha. And she continues to break barriers because she's been the first woman governor of Jharkhand. She's the first woman and tribal leader from Odisha to be appointed as a governor in a state, and she's completed her tenure. And she comes from a very humble personal background and has a history of public service and for a life full of struggle. She was born in a tribal family struggling with poverty in one of the most remote and underdeveloped districts. She's got a mission and a spirit to work to uplift society, and most of her organizational roles have also been in picking and in working for the scheduled caste and scheduled tribes. And she's completed her studies despite extreme circumstances. And